Sonic Frontiers. People are still fighting over this game. It's been 4 years since it came out. We've had 3 console Sonic games released since then, with 2 of them being praised by everybody and showing how Sonic Team is capable of making great games. Yet we can't stop arguing over this one. I think even after Sonic Frontiers 2 is released, loved by everybody and considered some of the best Sonic games ever made, we will still go back to Frontiers 1 discussion in a week. But we can all agree that Sonic Frontiers was a step in the right direction for the Sonic series, right? No. People think the game is an ugly generic game with a lack of direction. Okay, but was the story an improvement over the 2010 Sonic writing? No. While we can all admit the story is more serious and goes back to Sonic's 2000s roots, they can't agree that it was properly executed in the first place because of Influence's writing. Can we all collectively agree that the combat puzzles, cyberspace controls, or anything from the game is good? Nope. No matter what you say, good or bad, you're always wrong. Compare that to a game like Sonic 06, where nearly everybody can agree the game was going for good ideas, but had an ultimately bad execution. Or Sonic Unleashed, where almost everybody can agree the day stages are good to some degree. Don't get me wrong, you can't make everybody fit those groups. But how can a game like this not have any groups at all? Listen, there's a pretty good explanation for that being the case. No, it's not that Sonic fans are mindlessly positive guys trying to convince their inner selves that this bad game is good, but it isn't that people are negative for no reason either. You see, at the very core of Sonic Frontiers, as a video game, you have dozens of these make or break moments for you as a player. The open zone looks ugly, but that doesn't necessarily mean it isn't fun to move around in it. The game has hype moments, but it doesn't necessarily mean the game is made up of them. I'm sure this might hurt some people, but it has to be said. Sonic Adventure isn't really a divisive game, it's the playstyles that are. Sonic Adventure 2 doesn't have haters, it has alternate playstyle haters. And you guys genuinely don't want to admit this, but it's true. Sonic Unleashed at core was never hated by critics and grifters. It was only the Werehog gameplay that was. And Sonic Frontiers is entirely made up of these make or break moments, because it isn't in a confined part of the game, it's everywhere. The gameplay, the story, the music, the puzzles, the dialogue, they're all filled with these elements that either make or break your experience. My opinions on the game show that. I enjoyed Sonic's controls in the game a lot, which got me interested in learning the mechanics of the game, so I didn't mind the clear problems with the open zone platforming, because I enjoy the controls and the basic movement of the game. I also liked Final Horizon for keeping that gameplay with a more challenging twist. Same for the story. I recognize its flaws, but I found some of the character moments to be really good. Amy's characterization is something I enjoyed about the story because I felt the direction of making Sonic characters loosely mirror young adults worked by showing an Amy that's more matured and naturally grew from her goofy roots. Though I have some issues with that though. Giving Eggman a daughter figure is really cool and worked despite some horrendous moments, and you can follow this framework when you look at anyone that enjoys a game, which is very different from a game like Sonic 06, where you either hate the game because it's buggy or you like it because you got used to the jank, since you've been playing it for such a long time. And even with that, everyone and their grandmas can admit 06 was going for good ideas. 06 might be hated or loved by some hardcore fans, but you either consistently hate it or you don't at all. This is why the Sonic 06 is better than Sonic Frontiers trend happened last year and is still being discussed to this very day, because there's only one big make or break element for Sonic 06, which is the glitches and jank. Once you look at this, you begin to realize how the insane hate and toxicity in the fandom is so intellectually dishonest, really. If you argue with people on Twitter, Reddit, you name it, this will be the nail in the coffin for you, and you realize how that just isn't worth it. We have the weapons of the Frontiers haters. The first one is the belief that the game can be simply reduced to hype moments and aura, style over substance. It seems like this person is talking about this philosophical achievement that points out the issue with the game spot on. But you ain't fooling anybody, you're just saying the Titan fights blinded people to the game's bad quality. You saw what didn't work for them? The experience. The climax of the Sonic Frontiers experience is the Titan fights. If people had somewhat a good experience with the collectibles, the vibe, the build-up, etc., the Titan fights have a meaning. If they don't have a good experience, the latter become meaningless, which leads us to the overwhelming levels of complaining when it comes to the open zone's visual look. Everybody can agree that it looks bad, but no one can agree on the importance of that. And this all comes down to Sonic's control scheme in the game. If you find Sonic's controls fun, then the open zone platforming is fun then. Then the bad visuals don't have such gigantic importance, because the execution of the game was great. And I don't have to explain how that doesn't work for the ones that don't find Sonic's controls to be all that good. Speaking of controlling Sonic, People tend to complain about the lack of controlling him with automated sequences, and that's the most clear display of these make or break moments. Because yes, Sonic Frontiers is extremely automated. It's very much the most automated Sonic game second to Sonic Forces. That is an objective fact whether you like it or not. Man, that felt scary to say. However, because these automated sequences are extremely short, and the fact you're in an open world, no way. There are countless opportunities for shortcuts, skips, and you name it within that level design despite the automation. And that all relies on whether you enjoy Sonic's controls or not. I also believe many fans of Sonic Frontiers are just as toxic. The arguments they have are actually sort of worse than the ones from the haters, because there aren't any arguments at all. It's just crashing out. Toxic Frontiers haters have the technique of arguing, while Toxic Frontiers fans have the brutal force. Point out anything you find wrong about the game, and these people are gonna say you're ungrateful because Sonic Frontiers saved the franchise, and all you do is complain. It's so ridiculous to say that, like if you're somehow standing against a holy Sonic team for simply having an opinion. They're not really being honest here, they're just mad. They can't understand why someone would have a different opinion on the game that in their eyes saved the franchise. I showed you how Sonic Frontiers is divisive for valid reasons, and there's nothing inherently wrong with the game not working for you. You're not ungrateful for Sonic Frontiers because truly, if you disliked or straight up hated the game, there's a valid reason for that. Not liking the controls, thinking the story was poorly executed, not falling for the level design, that's all valid. I myself absolutely despise the combat system of Frontiers, so I understand where these people are coming from, even though I might enjoy the game overall, because understanding why someone thinks a certain way is truly uncomfortable, and people straight up don't want that kind of stuff in their minds. This applies to both haters and fans. If there's anything you want to take from this video, make it be the lesson that arguing with someone that has no intellectual respect for you isn't worth it, man. These people don't care about you and fundamentally can do nothing to you at the end of the day. In conclusion, Sonic Frontiers is a video game, not a vital organ. The game is divisive as heck, and as someone who has a ridiculous amount of hours on it, I can say the game is a messed up masterpiece. The game is unpolished, cheap, poorly designed, generic, boring, extremely fun, and replayable all at the same time. I have things I love about it and things I hate about it, and I believe you can relate to this too. But because the game is so inconsistent, it's become the most divisive Sonic game of all time. I hope this video made you more open-minded to other people's viewpoints on this roller coaster of a video game. Please subscribe if you want more content like this, and with all that said, bye bye.